3C Spook Your Mama continues, baby. Got my favorite costume on. I love this one because it's not even my final form. Okay, now it's my final form. Hello, horror fans. Thanks so much for clicking on this video. It is Chucky Boy here, continuing on with 3C Spook Your Mama month. Why did I call it that? That's a very good question. It's the first thing that came to my mind. But nonetheless, guys, all throughout the month of October, I will be bringing you a different kind of horror video every other day, just to really get into the spirit of the spooky season. And it would not be a 3C Spook Your Mama unless we talked about one of my favorite horror icons of all time, Chucky. What I'm going to be doing here for you guys is breaking down the 10 must-haves for the Child's Play TV series currently titled Chucky TV series. I'll be bringing to you guys the 10 things that I think are essential to have in this show, even breaking down details on the Child's Play TV series if you know nothing about this thing coming to us in 2021. So make sure you Chucky fans are leaving your own list down below of the 10 things that you want, your wish list, your must-haves for the Child's Play TV series, as well as letting me know what you agree or disagree with on my list here. That's the thing about this channel. It's all open to discussion. But okay, diving straight onto the list with number 10 of my must-haves for the Chucky TV series, the Voodoo Powers Explained. One thing that's been very prevalent throughout the series of the Child's Play films is that the voodoo abilities that Chucky has just don't always seem to be looked upon or are just glossed over. A lot of that has to do with the original creator of Chucky, Don Mancini, not actually being the one of having the idea of Charles Lee Ray, the notorious slasher, transferring his soul into the body of a doll. And he's admitted before that voodoo was never really something he found fascinating about the Chucky character, so because of that, since he is the one who wrote all the past Child's Play movies, we barely got any exploring to what Chucky could do with his voodoo abilities. Now coming to the Child's Play TV series, this is literally a room full of writers where we're going to get some fresh heads diving into the world of Chucky and bringing in their own take. These are people who are probably really big Chucky fans, know the character very well, and just think Chucky is very synonymous with his voodoo abilities, that even if good old Don Mancini does not want to go ahead and explore that writer's room can now flesh out some of the things in the voodoo world with Chucky that I heavily want explored instead of just brushing it off or saying you gotta spell from voodoo4dummies.com. Like, you gotta disrespect him that much, Don? Number 9 on the list, don't make Chucky a bullied kid. If you didn't know, in this Child's Play TV series, one of the things that's gonna work well for this show is even if you weren't a fan of all the previous movies or haven't kept up with the latest films from Child's Play all the way to Curse of Chucky, don't worry, because this series is going to be friendly to new audience members, in where even though all the previous films are canon, it's mainly a spin-off story that doesn't require much knowledge of the Chucky character. Along with that, we're also getting a new origin story for the character of Charles Lee Ray, and that is looking into his childhood. Don Mancini revealed during a Child's Play watch-along party that we will finally be able to see Chucky when he dreams. All those moments where we've seen in the Child's Play TV series where he closes his eyes and goes to sleep, the TV series will actually be looking into what he dreams about, and through his dreams, we will be looking at a young Charles Lee Ray about the age of 5 to 10 years old, giving us an idea of how he grew up to be the late night shore strangler. And I'm okay with origin stories to horrific villains, but it's always kind of tricky because do we want to see this horror icon be a vicious little kid eating his applesauce or running around on the playground? And will his motivations entail that he was bullied and that's why he's returning to this hometown to get revenge on his hometown bully? I hope the ideas they bring to the table on what made this kid turn from a good person into the Lakeshore Strangler really complex, fascinating, and interesting, and it's not just as simple as he was pushed around once in a while and that's why he does what he does. Number 8 on the list, establish Chucky's new motive. Being several films deep into the Chucky character, he has grown a lot. Not really height-wise, boy is still looking about to be, what, 3 feet tall? Where my 5'7" guys at? But growth as in his character motivations have changed a lot since his first movie. In the first 3 films, Chucky's motivation was to just get out of that body. He had the motive of, I'm trapped in a body, I have a limited amount of time, I need to find a new vessel, most times it is a child, and he needs to transfer his soul so he can continue living a human life. By the time we got to Seed of Chucky, that all changed, and we got this whole big speech that is like the only part of Seed Seed of Chucky that I actually like, where Charles Lee Ray finally embraces the Chucky character and says, you know what, screw it, I like being a good guy doll, I like living in this body, and I'm gonna continue being this little doll. From there, his motivations have just been up in the air. He no longer wants to get out of the body, instead he's going after people who got away from him, and this is something we are set to get in the Child's Play TV series, because Don Mancini had this to say about it. Chucky has a different goal in the TV series than he's ever had before. It's specifically something that is designed to evoke something that's going on in the zeitgeist today. So whatever this motivation is, if it's not him trying to leave his doll body, I hope it's a good one that can keep us coming for multiple seasons or more Chucky movies. Number 7 on my list, give us a dark tone similar to Child's Play 1 and 2. Any big Child's Play fan will tell you that the downfall of the Chucky character started happening somewhere between Bride of Chucky to Seed of Chucky, in where Chucky just dropped his whole serious evil doll persona with the occasional joke and just notched up the jokes all the way, so far where we even saw Chucky doing kung fu and jerking off in a bathroom like, oh my, what? Still have nightmares about it. The promise with this TV series is that we will be continuing the reestablishment of Chucky and making him a horror icon, straight up evil. Even in that teaser that we got that Sci-Fi put out, they were very careful on the stylistic choice and the music they used to bring to us the tone that they're going for with this Chucky TV series. And the music they specifically used was the theme from Child's Play 2, my favorite of the Child's Play movies. And I think that film is a perfect balance out of what we want to see from a character like Chucky, where he is evil, where he is doing his stabbing around. Number 6 on my list, give Chucky a new weakness. This one is kind of connected to exploring more of the voodoo aspects of Chucky, in where in the first 3 films, Chucky had a clear weakness of he needs to get out of that doll body, because the longer he spends in it, the more human he becomes, the more painful it gets for him, the weaker he gets and is more vulnerable to attacks, to now that looks like it's been thrown out of the window past Seed of Chucky, where we don't even know how long Chucky has been in a certain body, whether it was just alive for 10 minutes and it already has full body guts, or a doll that's been alive and moving for a whole movie and then when you knock off its head there's no body fluids. And kind of my only biggest gripe of Cult of Chucky is that, yeah, it is pretty cool that he has the multiple possession ability where he can bring to life multiple dolls, but is there a limitation to that? I hope in this TV series they establish a limitation to that new power, that Chucky does have new weaknesses other than the fact that he's just small and can be kicked around. Every good horror villain, while they are scary, while they are terrifying, they all come with their pre-established weaknesses that give us, the audience viewer, a chance to imagine how would we fight this being and try to survive, because if they're just completely invincible and nothing can stop them, it takes away the fun. Number 5 on my list, explain Chucky and Tiffany's relationship. One thing that has been confirmed for the Child's Play TV series is that we are getting the return of Tiffany, played by Jennifer Tilly, a fan favorite character that I am happy to see her come back. But honestly, the last time that we actually got to see Chucky and Tiffany have a scene together when they were conversating, they completely hated each other. Their relationship ended with a kung fu battle and a child dispute in a hospital where Tiffany basically made it look like she never wants to see Chucky again. Cut to a couple movies later, and Tiffany is now helping Chucky ship around his body to different places, even coming to physically assist him when he needs to go after people. Like, why has Tiffany now stooped so low to just go full evil instead of having the conscience that she grew in Seed of Chucky, where she wanted to just become a mother and raise her children? I would really love for the Child's Play TV series to kind of explain what arrangement they have, that Tiffany is willing to do anything Chucky asks, whether that means Tiffany has to help Chucky and Chucky will leave alone Glenn and Glenda, or she just continues to fall back in love with Charles and decides to do whatever he asks. Number 4 on my list, Andy Barclay. Andy Barclay for me will forever be the main protagonist for Chucky. Even though you've introduced a lot of great new characters here and there, I do love Minica, but some of the stuff I love the most in Cult of Chucky were just the one-on-one interactions between Chucky's head and Andy talking to each other. We know from the description of the plot synopsis for this TV series that Chucky will be visited by friends and foes from his past. If there hasn't been a bigger foe in Chucky's past than Andy Barclay, I don't know who else you're bringing to the table. Number 3 on my list though, and this one might be a surprising one, Glenda. I guess with the character of Glenda, you can add Glenn to an extension. I wouldn't mind see him pop up in the TV series, but someone that we barely have gotten any screen time with is the character of Glenda. This is Chucky's daughter. And the reason I most want to see her is not only because we've barely seen any of her in this whole series, but because she is said to be as evil as Chucky himself. At the end of Seed of Chucky, Chucky, Glenn and Glenda's teacher make it very clear that Glenda is one evil human being, has no remorse, basically has no soul, and is almost like Chucky reincarnated. Now that makes her very different from some of her family members. One, because like I've talked about, even though Tiffany is, yes, very evil, we've seen her in the past of the series grow a conscience, sometimes stop not wanting to take down people, and love always wins in her heart instead of going after someone. And then with Glenn, he doesn't have an evil soul in his body and just does whatever it takes to protect his mother and his well-being. With Glenda, there doesn't seem to be any remorse, any morals. She is just straight up Chucky, and that's someone I want to see so bad, because that's all Chucky wanted in Seed of Chucky, is to have a child that he can go around and do his evil things with. If Glenda is out there, why isn't Chucky bringing her along for the ride, giving her own doll? We know she's most likely in a human body, but I'm never opposed to bringing another Chucky doll into the family. Number 2 on the list, don't make the new kids a Stranger Things knockoff. One of the big sells for this Child's Play TV series is that the new characters for this TV show are going to be a group of middle school kids that Chucky is going to be haunting. The main character is said to be a 12-year-old boy who finds Chucky at a garage sale for some sort of art project, and even decides to bring Chucky along with him to school, where we'll meet his friends and other characters there that Chucky will be taunting. Now this sounds really awesome, and heck, it's already kind of been done in the Child's Play reboot, but Chucky has always been known to hang around children and mess with them, so that is something with the character. But something like Stranger Things just popularizing the fact of kids being in danger in a horror setting, I hope they don't just take that route, and that this series does something different with the fact that there's a group of kids struggling with something horrific going on that parents above them won't believe. Heck, I would love it if the main character of this movie embraces Chucky and decides to be on his side and help protect him, instead of just always being the worried, scared little kid, because Chucky has enough enemies. Why not get a new friend? And number 1 on my list, the one I think everybody can agree with, don't hold back on the stabby. What I mean by that is, yes, even though we're all worried that Chucky is headed to TV, Don Mancini has already confirmed a couple of things that kind of puts us at ease that this Chucky will be the guy we know and love. He'll be able to drop 8 to 10 F-bombs per episode, and them running on the Sci-Fi Network, they've even had a Saw marathon. You guys know how gritty and gory those movies get. If they can run the Saw movies, Chucky, I think, is going to be able to get away with a lot, and I hope the creativeness of how he takes down people continues to fledge on in this series, because if it's just him taking people down off screen or just a knife to the back and that's it, it's gonna make it for kind of a boring watch, when that's some of the most exciting parts. We know we're not gonna get a takedown per episode, but every other episode with something creative happening would be nice. But those are just my 10 must-haves for the Child's Play TV series. I want to know what you guys agree with or disagree with. Leave me your own list down below. Subscribe for more movie-related content. Hit that like button. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.